Good morning. It is now 7:06. I've been up for an hour and I thought we would do a day in the life video. Really more of a morning in the life. I'm drinking my coffee and got this fabulous cup of Durand Union Station. My parents volunteer and work there. It's a great historic depot. They sell goods and it's a fun place to visit. So right now I'm uploading my YouTube video from September. My goal is to have all of my podcasts uploaded to YouTube because I think it gives people another chance to find out about the podcast, and I really want it to grow and to have an audience where we have an interactive conversations and community. So what have I done this morning? Well, I'm going to put this down because you can tell it's only 17% loaded. I do the YouTube loading in the morning because we have high-speed internet. However, it will chew it all up so we can't watch videos or have multiple devices on. So we want to do that before my husband gets home from work. Well, this really, I'm winging it. The sock yarn I've been working on, it's that speckled yarn. And I have to say, I thought it was hideous. It was part of my Yarn of the Month club that I had a while ago. So I've been knitting on this. I've been doing like a row or two in the morning. It's fingerless gloves. And yeah, I thought it went from this ball, which I thought looked hideous, to this self-striping panel. I'm winging it because I didn't have any double point. It's this small, so I'm going to do a seam. They're almost long enough. I may do a little bit of a garter stitch on this end for the thumb hole, and they're not going to be super long. I don't know why I decided to make them. I thought it'd be a cute little project. Sock yarn would be heavy enough. I think knitting socks is very cool. I have a hard time fitting my big feet with loose tops because they bite into my ankles. And the other part is I didn't want a really involved project. I need mindless projects in the evening. I get tired. I got sick of working on the granny square, so a couple days ago the box has been put aside and decided to do some stockinette stitch, which I consider mindless, on a pattern I'm making up as I go. And you know what? Being a pattern designer for knitting is not my strength. We'll see how it goes. The other thing I did the other day was I did the binding on this little mini quilt. This was a collaboration of a quilt, a little block. It's a mini quilt. It's like 14, 15 inches square. I pieced all of the fabric. And then Leah Day was on the podcast, if you've listened, last spring. And she does collaborations with a lot of the people that she has on her podcast. So I asked if we could do that. She said, sure. And she did all of this quilting. Look at this, how gorgeous that is. It's tiny. You almost need a magnifying glass. She's very, very creative. And I would highly recommend her YouTube channel, Leah Day. She's an amazing free motion quilter. And I've learned so much from her. So anyway, I bound it in this dark gray fabric, which is Moda Grunge. And I liked how it turned out. Well, this morning I started with doing the dishes. I get up at 6. I did the dishes, got the coffee going. I wrote a Machine Quilting Monday article on my blog. Uploaded the YouTube video, looked through the things that I have done this week, including this quilt and the knitting. Let me show you the mess I have in my sewing area. This is my dining room table. It's kind of a mess. This is where I sew. I've been working on my serger because I've been doing some serging of Christmas presents, and when I'm done with that, I need my sewing machine. I'll pull the Janome New Home forward and do sewing. Yep, the lighting is pretty good out here, but it's not the greatest, so I have accessory lighting that I put on the machines when needed. Let's walk over here. Across the way, a few steps off the dining room is this little room. And here I have pressed a quilt. This is my ironing station. And then here is a tool bench where I do a lot of my cutting and planning. And the little water bottle on the end is to fill up with iron water. That's what I call it. Water to put in my iron for steam. I usually leave this kind of a mess because I'm a messy creative person, but at least I have all my rulers and all of my scissors straight. So I pressed this quilt to go upstairs, and that's my next job for about 45 minutes until I have to get ready for my day job. Up the stairs we go, because the long arm is on the second floor in my master bedroom. Well, I have this beautiful quilt ready to load on the long arm frame, only to discover that I don't have enough thread. I believe it needs a gray for this quilt, and I'm going to have to order some. So this one's going to get bumped down the line, and I'm going to load the little quilt that's my mom's on the frame next. She and I have already discussed the quilting plan for it, and we're going to go wavy lines. This one's going to be a little bit more in depth, and it's going to go relegated to not being wrinkled up, and it's going to be flat on my queen size guest bed until I'm ready to load it. It's going to be a fun project to work on. So as you can tell, I literally pin the back on the leader cloth. I have the top of this back, then I got to finish pinning, then the entire bottom of the quilt needs to be pinned on this leader cloth, and then I will pin the top on the lower edge to this leader cloth. Then I'll have it all set up to start quilting. This is my tray that floats between the bars. I have all my pins and my pin cushion, alcohol for cleaning up poked fingers, as well as the long arm and other notions, scissors, rulers, etc. So I'm going to finish pinning this off in the time I have. And if I have time, I will baste the top row and maybe do a test stitch of wavy lines. Well, I have finished quilting the first row. Let me get ahead of the light here. On the long arm, you can see the quilt is on the frame. And I started organic lines. It'll be like that as an all-over pattern on this lovely quilt. See how the lines mimic some of these wavy tiny lines in the border. And that was the look we were going for. Alright, it's 10 to 8. I have to be to work by 8:30. I live about 1.5 miles from the office, so I'm going to get crack-a-lackin'. See you shortly. And you can see it is 10:02, and I'm double checking. Yay, the YouTube video loaded. So let's go to I want to go see if it actually loaded, because I want to kind of shut down the computer before I go. Let's go to my channel, which is Vicki Holloway, and it was September is podcast anniversary. There it is. All right. So now I'm meeting my goal as I have Mindful Quilting podcast to load, and then I'm going to be caught up on that. I love that flower. Off we go. It's Monday at work. The day job. Switch gears. Well, it's not too bad of a day today. Gray and overcast. You can see all the leaves are falling. And here we go. These two trees, though, are holding out. They're the last to lose their leaves. Off to work. Well, I'm in the car, and as you can tell, it's a little dark out yet. We do daylight savings time next weekend. And what I want to say is I just realized I didn't do my morning creative prompt challenge for my Creative Corner 3. That's my Facebook group, and I usually do that in the morning. So I'm going to have to do that today. Hey, I got the light on to check out my 5-minute face because that's all I normally do. And I need to do something with this prompt challenge. I'm kind of stuck. I normally write it out a month at a time, and this month I did it each day. Last week was a 20-minute a day, and you were to show what your progress was. Today, I think we're going to do another doing activity because the first couple weeks of the month were thinking activities. So the prompts are to spark your creativity and then post about it on the group. We also share projects we're working on, successes, failures, laughs over mistakes, and overall, I really enjoy the interactive group. So I've got to do that on my lunch hour or some point today. I don't know what I'm going to do for November. I really got to think about it because November 1st is coming up. I also do it first thing in the morning, which I didn't mention, which I think is a great creative prompting, is the Fat Mom Slim or FMS Photo a Day Challenge on Instagram. And today was top, and I did a picture of all of the leaves that fell off the tree by my car and landed on top of the driveway. Sometimes you got to stretch it a little bit. So I look ahead occasionally. I take a lot of photos for inspiration, and then I also find that helps with my quilting. So now it's 8:22. I got to get going to work. We'll talk to you later.